Hi everybody, my name's Sandy and I'm with Over the Hills 2019, and my husband and I are full-time RVers and we're traveling around the United States, and we do campground reviews for our YouTube channel, and some people have been asking us how we find these really awesome campgrounds. So I'm going to go over that with you today, how we find these campgrounds. If you haven't been to our channel before, please take a look around. We do a lot of travel videos. Again, we do the campground reviews, and we also do a lot of how-to and educational videos. So hopefully we can help out newcomers that are just getting into the full-time RVing lifestyle. So please subscribe so you can be notified when we put out new videos. So this is what the Campendium website looks like, and yes, we do use Campendium. This is a totally free site. You can become a sponsor of Campendium for a small charge, and you get additional features when you do that, but I'm going to be reviewing with you just the free site. So you just put in where you want to camp. Can be city, state, zip code. As you can see, you can search for a certain national park. You can search for a particular RV park. There are a lot of options on what you can type in here, but I'm just going to go for the state of Montana. We were recently in the Glacier National Park area, and I do know that there are a bunch of choices up there, so that'll give us a lot more things to go over. So here's what it comes up with for Montana. It shows you that there's 150 RV related places in this area. Glacier National Park, as you can see, is right up here. So we're going to zoom into that area, and out comes all the little pinpoints. We wanted to be as close to Glacier National Park as we could. So we looked up more in this area, and I'll explain to you what these dots mean. The blue ones are RV parks. The green ones are going to be national parks, state parks, BLM land, Forest Service land, things like that. So the green ones aren't necessarily all free sites, but they are more public lands. So of course we have some parking areas. And we got a couple dump stations hidden back in here. The dump stations are in brown. Whatever view you're seeing on the screen, it's going to give you a little bit of details over here on the left-hand side of what those are. Everything that you're seeing in the screen. So you can see that there's reviews. You can see what it is. The most recent review, they give you a little bit on that, what they put in the title, how much it costs. You can just scroll down through here. It's giving you the prices for the RV parks, so you can see that right off the bat, and it's also showing you over on the right hand side. See, when I cursor over this Mountain Meadow RV Park, it's highlighting it over here on the map, so you can see exactly where it's located. So a lot of helpful information right here in this screen. I'm going to go into one of the RV parks and show you a little bit about the details that it says for that. So we got an address and a phone number, website link, GPS coordinates, a lot of helpful information on this site. You got some information here, the most recent price paid, if it's noted in this person's review, and the length of the longest RV. So when you fill out, it's again free to sign on, create a user on this website, and you give them a little bit of that information, the size of your RV, little things like that. So whenever you do a review, they have this information that they can put out there. So we've got the number of sites, the pad type, whether it's gravel, cement, grass, if reservations are required, open seasonally, of course, in Montana, that's going to be the case pretty much all the time. and the elevation that it's at. So that can kind of give you an idea of what the weather will be like in that area. So when we cursor down here, we start to get into the reviews. Cell service, they show you how the cell service is in the area, and then we've got the reviews. Now, the reviews, I think, are very important. I always look at the reviews. I wouldn't pick up a campground or a campsite, a free site, without looking at the reviews. So that's very important to me. You know, they kind of clue you in on, is this a good neighborhood, bad neighborhood? They clue you in on if the sites are extremely unlevel, hard to level up. They clue you in on that. Anything else, if there's a lot of wild animals in the area that you need to be aware of, they give you a ton of information in these reviews. And I applaud the people that do these reviews. I think that's totally awesome, because it is very helpful to everybody that comes along behind you. So we also have a cell phone rating on this particular person's review. So lots more reviews down here. And then at the bottom, it gives you a little list of the amenities in that area. So they're saying, you know, what electric hookups you have, water, sewer, full hookups, if Wi-Fi is available, if it costs any extra, it would be noted here. Got some extras like the playground and the swimming pool. Big rig, that generally means like if you have a rig that's like 35 feet or longer, is it going to have room for you? And then all the extras like laundry and showers and things like that, and if pets are allowed. So that's also very helpful information. We've actually been in some places where we were having trouble finding a dump station and potable water. So I started going through these listings to find RV parks that had dump stations and potable water. See, now this one does not mention that it has a dump station. Now, just because it's an RV park with full hookups, that doesn't mean that they have a dump station or potable water that other people can come in and use. So this is very helpful in that area. So now I'm going to go back up, and I think one of these is the one that we stayed in. Okay, North Fork Road Dispersed Camping. And if we cursor in, we're going to see some of these free sites. Over here in the list on the left, you're seeing 000. All these places are free sites. So we go in and look at those. This is the one that we stayed in. Again, it's got kind of an address, usually not a street number, because this is just, you know, kind of National Forest property on National Forest roads. But still phone numbers that you can call for more information if you have any questions, and this will take you to like a Forest Service headquarters office. Website links, GPS coordinates, very important because some of these are hard to find, and this one was. You really need to know where that driveway is. But wonderful information. Here, the longest RV reported was 43 feet. That means there's plenty of room. It gives you the maximum stay, which sometimes they have this listed on RV parks as well. If they have a maximum, it just depends on, you know, what information was entered when that listing was originally created. And if tent camping is available. Are you allowed to camp in a tent? Some places they don't allow you to. If they have active bear activity, they prefer that everybody be in a hard-sided vehicle. And back to the maximum stay. This particular one is 16 days. Now, a lot of people probably assume that if it's BLM land or Forest Service land that it's automatically a 14-day stay limit, and that's not necessarily the case. We have seen public lands that have a 3-day limit, a 5-day limit. This one is actually a couple days over the 14-day limit. So it's very important to check. And if you really want to be sure, definitely, you know, send an email or call the headquarters office to verify that that is the maximum stay limit. Same cell phone reviews, which is totally awesome. That has helped us in a lot of places too. This one has a video review, and that is our video. So you can kind of go into the videos and actually see what the place looks like, which is really handy. And just, again, awesome reviews to let you know what other people thought of the area, if there's anything you need to be aware of. Like with free spaces, they generally give details on the condition of the road trying to get into the spot, because some roads aren't as great as others. So always very helpful information. So this says dry camping, dispersed camping, big rigs are okay, and pets are allowed. So again, some information down in the amenities, some things that you really want to look for. So between the cell phone reviews and the written reviews, that's generally how we pick a campsite. But there is one more thing that I look at before I decide that that's where we're going to go, and I'll go over that with you here in a minute. I'm going to go back and show you what the dump station listings look like. And parking is just, that's overnight parking, and generally just for overnight. That's not, 2 days, 3 days, 5 days. That's just overnight parking. So that gives you a little bit of information about those. So we're going to go into a dump station. This is the dump station that we used when we were there. Address, phone number, website, GPS coordinates, helpful information. Got reviews, the prices the folks paid, any other services that they noticed while they were there. Very helpful information in these reviews. Very, very helpful. And that just says dump station. So this is one of the perfect examples of when this listing was created. The person that suggested the listing and created it didn't give all the information. So I know because we used this Conoco gas station, and one of the other people did note it in their review up above. I saw that. But this does have potable water. Now, I called the store to find out if they had potable water, and she says, yes, it is potable, just don't use the hose that's connected to the faucet. Use your own hose, because people stick those hoses where you don't want to know where they were sticking them. So that's what they said. So this one should have probably noted that there was potable water available. So I'm going to go ahead and go over with you the other thing that we look at when we're choosing a spot. I'm going to go back into North Fork Road here. I'm going to hit the coordinates, and it's going to take me over into Google Maps, right where those coordinates are. And I'm going to look at the satellite view on Google Maps to try and get an idea of what it looks like. Now, sometimes if we're worried about hills, going up hills to access a spot or going down hills to access a spot, I will also turn on the terrain feature so I can see the differences in the elevations that are over top of that camping area. Like part of the camping area might be at a lower elevation, then you got to get up a hill to get to the back part of that camping area. You're going to see a lot of that. People will say, well, the beginning part of the road was full, but we went back in a ways. Different things that you want to know before you drive in there. So we're going to turn on the satellite view. And this shows you the campground. It's starting to come in here. So there's the access road, very short. And this is the road to the camping area. So with this little spot going kitty corner down the middle. Now there were people parked up here. There were people parked back here. This is a little ditch. We can kind of try and scroll in and see what else we can see. Not, this isn't terribly helpful. It's not showing you pictures of the area, but at least you can get an idea of what you're going to be driving into. Now, one of the main reasons that I look at this is to see how many vehicles can be accommodated in this area. So it's a concern to us to not drive into a spot that might possibly be full, and we would have to, you know, back up or try and turn around and, you know, try and find a second or third choice at the last minute. So I try and get as much information as I can up front about the places that we're going to be going to. So this one to me looked like it would accommodate a bunch of vehicles, so that made us very comfortable in choosing this location. So I can also show you how to turn on the terrain. That's up here in the menu. You need to turn on the terrain. Okay, so this is what terrain looks like, and I had to scroll out a little bit because it was actually a very flat spot. There were no elevation changes. So here you can see 3,400 feet and 3,600 feet. Each one of these lines indicates some kind of hill, whether it's going uphill or downhill. So this area where the campground is at is a very flat area, and then here it goes down to the river, so you've got the lines over on that side. So terrain is very helpful to let you know if you're looking at a flat spot or a hilly spot. So I'm going to go back over into Campendium here a little bit, and I'm going to show you some of these options that they have up here. Sort by distance, highest rated, most reviews. I generally don't use any of these. Categories, you can show just public land, just RV parks, just parking areas, overnight parking areas, and just dump stations. So you have that choice there if that's what you're looking for. If you're only looking at RV parks, then definitely choose just the RV parks so you don't get a cluttered up screen with a bunch of stuff that you don't need. You can set what kind of price limit you're looking in, and you know, this is a scroll here, so you can set, you don't want anything over $30 a night, and that'll show you that. They always show free. Maybe I'm missing something, but this doesn't necessarily work for me all the time. I have turned this on before to always show free. And then I found that some of these that I knew were free because I had looked at them, they kind of disappeared. So I'm not quite sure, again, if I'm doing something wrong or if there's a little bug in that. But this option is available, and I think it would work really good for RV parks if you're looking for something that's like $30 or less a night or $40 or less a night. That works just fine. So when we go over here under other filters, you do have choices, you know, hookups, whether you want full hookups, you can choose that. If you need 50 amp service, you can choose that. The length of the RVs that have been going into these spaces, based on the reviews that have been done, you can choose that. You can set a limit on your elevations. If it's coming up on fall and you don't want to get into snow, you can show only the places that are at lower elevations. Lots of options here, 55 plus only, pets okay, discounts for certain clubs, AAA, AARP, escapees, bunch of choices there. If you want something that has a boat ramp, if you're towing your boat along with you, you can choose that. Lots of different options here if you want to filter what shows up on your screen. And then you can clear filters if you want to show everything again. So hopefully this video has been helpful to you. Definitely if you have any questions or comments, or if I've gotten something wrong, please leave us a comment down below. Happy to answer questions from anybody that has them. So hopefully that helps you. Take care, and we'll see you next time.